back to Rachel and Bella Crafts. Rachel here. I hope you're all well. So the time has come to start the giveaway journal for the Christmas collaboration. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit later starting this than I had initially intended. I do apologise. I've been laid up poorly with COVID, but we all seem to be making good recovery now, and things can start to get back to normal. And most importantly, we need to get on with this journal. So the project has kind of grown on a little bit more than what I initially had planned at the beginning, mainly because basically the girls that are part of this collaboration are just absolutely amazing. They are so awesome, and when they knew that I was not well, and obviously missed out on the opportunity to be able to craft along with a lot of the videos at the start, they offered to send me some of their makes, the things that you've watched them make in the videos, so that I can put them into the journal. Not only that, but some of our collaborators are also designers like myself, and they are amazing and have all sent me in copies of their Christmas kits and Christmas papers so that they can be included in the journal. So you won't have just a giveaway journal that I've made. You will be having a giveaway journal that is been put together by designs from all of the designers that are part of the collaboration. But not only that, you will also have the actual, well, some of the actual makes and demonstrations that have been done. You will have them in the journal. So suddenly this journal got a whole lot more interesting, because it's not just something I've knocked together. This is now a huge group project that I'll be putting together for you, and whoever wins it will have stuff from all over the world, basically, because the girls have been posting stuff in. I've had 2 things come already. So yeah, this is really, really exciting. So me being me, nothing is ever just a big enough project. I always end up just making more work for myself because I do everything all far and backwards or whatever anyway. But in the process of printing out all of these fantastic kits and all of the wonderful ephemera the day before yesterday, I then promptly ran out of ink, excuse me, and didn't manage to print off any of our kits. So thankfully, Bella's up the road and she's running off a copy of our kit for me as I speak. So I'll be able to add those bits in later. Now I've ummed and ahed over how to do how to put this journal together. I know that there's going to be quite a lot of ephemera in it, and really it's all about the ephemera. It's not really about the journal pages, is it? This is kind of going to be a bit of a keepsake piece to remember all these wonderful projects. So I was quite conscious that it needed to have good depth to it. I was going to start off obviously with a basic soft cover journal, but then I thought I'm not going to be able to grow that. So that's why I haven't hurried up to make the cover at the moment, because I wanted to see how big it was going to become. And now that I've had all this fantastic paper given to me to go in there, excuse me a second, sorry. Sorry about that. Now that I've had all this fantastic these digitals given to us to go in, I really want to try and incorporate as much into it as possible. Now, I'm going to use as many of the digitals as I can. Obviously, not every page is going to make it in there, because, there's a lot of paper here. But they may not all be in there as pages. I may use some of these to make some of the demonstration ephemera as well. So you're going to see a little bit of everybody in there, which I think is really fantastic. Now, what I've kind of come to the conclusion of is that I'm going to try and do an altered book. Like I say, I don't know anything by halves, do I? I have to do everything the hard way. But no, I haven't made an altered book before. It may not be hard. It may be really easy, and perhaps I'm on the right tack. But I've just been up and looked through all my books, and I found this one, and I think this is going to be perfect. It's got nice deep spine. It's big. It's bigger than A4, which I think is important, because that's an A4 coffee dye page folded in half, and by the time we put something on that, I wanted to have a bit of room to put a bit of information on there for you as well. So it's giving me a bit more to play with. So what I thought I'd do, and not just that, but every single page in this book is like a piece of junk journal heaven, because it's like literally just full of leaflets of fascinating places all around Britain, which is great. So some of these pages I'm going to just leave as they are. I'll find out, I mean, that's just lovely there, isn't that a lovely train? Leave that in. So I'm going to go through this now very quickly, gut out what I don't need, leave in what I do, and then I can take it from there then. I'm going to cover the cover with some lovely fabric. I went to the fabric shop yesterday and managed to go through their bargain bin. Oh, I love the bargain bin time of year, isn't it? Fab. And I mean, look at all these beautiful fabrics I've managed to pick up. I mean, oh, how cute is that? Look at those lovely kitties. They're singing their carols. Oh, lovely. So I'm thinking I might do something like a bit of a patchwork design on the cover. But now that we've got a nice base for me to work with, that'll be great. So I will do that with you guys. I think the first important thing for me to do, though, is to kind of get the shape that we need for this book, and to just go through and, you know, stick pages together and do what needs to be done there. Identify perhaps some really good images. You know, I mean, that's quite nice and bright. I'd probably leave that in there. You know, and just, I mean, these sorts of images, they're lovely, aren't they? And then what I do take out will end up, I think, featuring in other journals, because this is a brilliant book. So that's the plan with that. So this is going to be quite a sizable project. So yeah, that's the plan with that. So I'm going to mix that on that first. What I have done, though, I've done a very quick slideshow, I'm going to call it, for want of a better word, of all of these digitals. And I have literally gone through and I'm turning every page so that you can see what I'm going to do, because I didn't want to go through and, you know, show you each one. It was going to take a long time. So I thought, right, this is the quickest way that I can do it, but you're going to be able to see every page from all of these kits. And I'm going to put the name up on the screen of the kit and the Etsy shop. So, and hopefully I'll be able to fit on the name of the designer as well. But most importantly is that you know where you can go if you want to purchase these kits. You know, for a lot of the girls, some of these kits that we've got here are their first digis. So, you know, please go and support the girls. Go and check them out. I will put all of the links to their Etsy shops in the description box below. You know where to find that now, don't you guys? Because obviously you've been following the collaboration, so you've kind of got that process. But yeah, all the information will be there, so you'll be able to have a good look at all these fantastic designs that we've got here. We've got just such a cross spread of stuff. It is just fantastic. I've never been so excited. Got so much to play with. So that's there ready. You guys go off now and have a quick look at the digis. While you're doing that, I'm going to rip out some pages and stick some down. And then when I come back, we'll be ready to go on and put some of our papers in. And you guys will have seen all the wonderful designs that's going to go in. Okay, I won't be long. Okay then, so now that you've seen all of these beautiful kits, and my gosh, aren't they fantastic, the kits that we've been given? Now that you've seen all of those, so I put on Gail, of course, she's our queen of altered books, and I sat and watched her as I did mine, and I followed her tip of you know, how many pages to take out and what to leave in. And so the book now looks like this, which I think you'll agree is a much healthier looking amount of pages in there for what we're going to be putting in, because obviously bear in mind we're going to have some quite bulky projects, I would imagine, to go in here. And now there's lots of space, so there are around 40 double page spreads in there, because I figured there's 34 tutorials. I wanted to put one page as well. I was going to put a list of everybody obviously that was in there, and then to leave some writing spots as well. So yeah, so what I've done basically is, I mean, this book was ideal on the spine because well, the signatures of the book are usually about, I don't know, 8 to 10 pages per signature. So I don't know if you can see those there. I'm kind of holding it up. I don't know if it's close enough. You know, the little curls. So what I did basically was I opened each signature out and I took out the centre part. So, for example, and then I have gone through and followed Gail's tips on then adding some pockets and some tucks, and I've put pages together like that. So not only will we have you know excuse me, I'm so sorry. Not only will we have the actual pages to collage on and then to put the projects on, there will also be nice deep pockets or side tucks in there as well. I've put a bit of a corner pockety thing in there, so we'll collage that and that page there, and I've also then left a page behind to put a so that'll be a tuck spot as well, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's lots. Oh, then we've got this one here. It's a bit of a fancy one. I haven't done any more folds than just this so far because I need to look now at the sort of things I'm going to be putting on here. So I know, for example, some of them the girls have done like folios, or Raindrop Lilia, she did a mini journal with you all, didn't she? So obviously I'll just want a large pocket for that, won't I? So that kind of a page will be perfect for that. If we're going to put a little mini journal in, which I've got ready to put together, we'll be able to just then tuck that in there and the rest of the page will be collaged and what have you. So I'm going to make a start now on collaging some of these pages. I will film a lot of the process so that you can kind of, you know, see how I'm doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've not altered a book before, it may be an interesting process for you to see how I'm going to deal with that. But I think we're going to start here. I'm not going to do the what do we call this bit here? The front page? I don't know. I'm not going to do this yet because I found the papers ready for it. What do you think of these? Now, please forgive me if I get them wrong when I say whose kit it is, because you know, you saw there was a lot there. So I'm going to try my best to remember whose is whose, but I think this was Helen's kit. And I just think these are perfect. Look at these beautiful purple flowers on this. I mean, who would have thought to put purple in a Christmas kit? And I'm looking through thinking, oh, it was perfect. And of course, we've got this lovely purple background. So I'm going to use these two pages on these two pages here. So they'll be the ones that you see as you open up the book. But I'm not going to do that until I've done the cover, because I'm putting fabric on, which I will want to wrap around on the inside. And I need to make sure that all that is nice and neat and tidy around there. And I don't want the paper to be disturbed. So I'm going to put that on very last. And then I'll probably stitch around it before sticking it on to the actual page. Because like I say, I've got to bring the fabric over. So we'll see what we can do with that. But those are the pages that are going to be going on the front inside cover. Okay, so enough waffle. It is time that we got some collaging done. And got some Christmas images in this book. So let's start by collaging this one here. Okay, right, well, I think I'm going to start with some of PinkMonarchPrints kits, because I do actually have some very exciting news to share with you all. I'm actually on Anna's design team, so just started on the design team with her, so this will be my first opportunity to have a play with some of her pages. So thank you very much, Anna, for inviting me to join your team. Really exciting. And yeah, it's just and it's great because her style is very very similar to kind of what I aspire to. So now I don't have the hassle of trying to make kits like this myself. I can just work with Anna's beautiful kits, which is great. So what I've printed off here, you should have seen these in the flip through. I've got some of her lovely collage pages here, and of course I've backed them all because initially I was thinking I was doing a you know, a normal journal, and then changed my mind then afterwards, because she's got these great collage, they're like large journal cards, but they're collage cards, which is great because there's lots of different designs and things on there then. Sorry about that, my youngest just got into school. Yeah, so I just think these are going to be perfect for doing some collage work in here. So I'm going to make a start, I think. And I'm not going to worry too much about the fact that I've backed them because I've got the choice then to use either some of that side or this side, but I think I'm going to use this side here. So I'm going to start with the red one, and I am going to try and, oh, I think we'll use that one. Oh, look at these beautiful kittens, aren't they lovely? Right, okay. So, oh my goodness, this is so nerve-wracking. I don't know why I'm so nerve-wracked. I don't know. But, yeah, this is just something different. So I just hope it doesn't all go horribly wrong. I'm sure it won't. I'm sure it'll all be fine. And I'm sure it's all going to go swimmingly and it's going to look amazing. And yeah, it's just going to be awesome. Let's just mark that out on there. So I hope you're all enjoying the A to Z. There are some people who are still just finding out about it. So I'm still getting some brilliant comments and messages from some of you who are like, oh my gosh, I just found out about this. I do have to say, where have you all been for the last 18 days? But no, I'm kidding. But no, I'm obviously aware that as some of the other channels join us, you know, for instance, today we had the fantastic G Kerr. Oh my goodness, she did a brilliant tutorial. I won't spoil it in case you haven't seen it yet, but get over and have a look because it was a fab idea and very original. Not something I would have thought of doing before. So yeah, really lovely. I think I'm going to start with that piece on there like that. Now I am going to ink around these just to kind of you know, give it a bit of age, and because obviously these are quite modern papers as well, I think it'll just finish it off nicely. Sorry, I just completely lost my thread of what I was talking about then. Okay, so that's all inked. Now I was questioning glue, which glue to use, but I noticed Gail uses a glue stick, so I'm gonna stick with that and just hope we don't get too much puckering on the page, because sometimes you can with a glue stick they tend to perhaps sometimes, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You'll have to forgive me. I've still got a little bit of COVID head. They talk about giving you brain fog. I suffer from brain fog anyway. Brain frog? Oh, yeah, that's more like it actually. Bouncing about. No, I suffer from brain fog, I should say. Anyway, because I have fibromyalgia. So that, you know, you've always kind of got that going against you. But yeah, COVID is a completely different thing. I just find myself like zoning out. I'll be like mid-sentence or something will distract me, and then I just kind of like, everything just comes to grinding halt, which is not ideal, especially when I'm trying to do a tutorial and, you know, keep you all engaged. But yeah, so that's quite interesting. That's the one. Let's use that. Perfect. So yes, I was about to tell you about the coffee dye-in debacle last night. Well, it was quite funny, really. I was all set to do this last night, and I spent a day and a half printing all those papers, and then I made the mistake of getting a little bit distracted, and I sat down and started fussy cutting all of the fantastic ephemera, which I'm sure of you saw in the flip through. And of course, once you start fussy cutting, that's it then, you know. And I kind of then had to stop myself and say, no, hang on a minute, Rach, because you're probably not going to use a lot of this to start with. You just need to get the pages in. So you can come back to that later. Let's get this done. So then I was like, all right, okay, I will put, you know, we'll do this bit. We'll film this bit and I'll get this bit done. So I had everything all laid out nice. And then I sat there and I thought, oh my gosh, I've got no coffee tie paper. This was when I was obviously planning to do the book, just, you know, journal, normal style kind of thing. And then, of course, I didn't end up doing that. So I kind of went off down another rabbit hole, as I explained to you before. I'm very good at doing. I went and spent an hour and a half in the kitchen and was coffee dyeing paper at 3:30 in the morning. My middle son actually came down about 2:30, I think he came down. Like myself, he's not a great sleeper. And he came down and make some toast before he went to bed. And he's like, Mum, you know, what are you doing? And I was like, he's like, you really should be in bed, shouldn't you? You're going to be tired. And I said, I know, I got to get this done, blah, blah, blah. Your brain's on. You know, my brain was, I don't know if you feel the same when you're about to start a journal or working on a journal. My brain just tends to go off at 100 miles an hour then. I'm like, right, come on, you know, I just want to do it, you know. And I had this bright idea then. Okay, I'll rephrase. I had this idea. It wasn't so bright after. Oh, I like that. That looks nice, doesn't it? I had this bright idea. I dyed my hair yesterday. I do my own hair dyeing at home. I was qualified as a hairdresser many years ago, and so I've always just done it myself, you know, with a box dye. And I also changed the colour of my hair yesterday, so I'm no longer blonde. And I had a load left over in the second bottle, and it was, I don't like waste, you know, we don't like waste, do we? And I was sat there last night thinking, oh, I wonder what I could do with that now. And I said, oh, I wonder if I could, so I was Googling, you know, can you use what you've got left over, you know? And the obviously advice on the internet was very heavily, no, don't, you know, keep it. And you're not supposed to store it either, you're supposed to just chuck it because obviously the peroxide or whatever in there. So I thought, oh, this is going to be, you know, a bit of a waste. So then I just had that sudden, oh my goodness, I thought, because I've used like for dyeing papers before now, I've used you know, when you've got ink left in the cartridge of your printer, well, I take them out the back and ask my other half to get his drill, and he drills holes in the top, and I tip it in then to a big dish then of hot water, and just let it seep out, and then I chuck my papers in, and then I end up with nice different coloured papers, which is great. And then, you know, they dye the papers me. So, I mean, I know they're not natural dyes, but it is recycling. It's only going to go in landfill, so at least I'm utilising what's left in my cartridge. So I had this bright idea last night and thought, I wonder if I could use the leftover hair dye to dye the papers, because you know what it's like when you've done a hair dye, after a bit it goes really dark then, doesn't it, in the bottle. You know, I wasn't dyeing my hair that dark, but and I knew there was going to be red tones in it, and I thought, oh, that could be quite interesting. I wonder if it'll give me a bit of a you know, like a coffee dye hue. So I thought, oh, right, we'll give this a go. So there I was, 3:30, my rubber gloves on. I don't normally wear gloves to coffee dye, but I really didn't want that all over my hands. I think I have got some remnants of it on there today. Anyway, dyed the papers. and then of course it was late, and I thought, well, these are not going to dry, so I'm going to whack my papers in the oven. I'll do them a couple at a time. Well, then of course I had this sudden horrific thought, and I still don't know whether this was just middle of the night panic or whether I am actually right. I meant to ask my son today, because I live with 3 sciencey brained kids, and I thought one of them's bound to know. But it then occurred to me, should I not be making it hot? Do you know what I mean? So I'm stood there then, looking at the oven, cooking this paper, thinking, and of course the kitchen stinks of Haida, you know, that really like chemically smell that it gets into her. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've just put that in the oven now. What if it like blows up my oven? You know, I only had the oven last summer because the other one broke. And then I could like potentially now have like it suddenly burst into flames, and I clearly should have been in bed. I think I was a bit delirious actually. I should have left a hangover of COVID or what, I don't know. But yeah, I was having a bit of a panic. So I didn't know what to do then, because obviously the pages were not quite dry, and I was having a bit of a dither. So I kind of whipped them out and put them on the top, and then thought, well, I need paper. So I ended up making up a batch of, well, it was quite interesting actually. It was like George's Marvellous Medicine. I don't know how many of you have read Roald Dahl's book, or as I've said before, we're one of those kids that used to make potions in the garden with your mother's rose petals and whatever other gubbins you could find. Well, it was like that in my kitchen at 3:30 last night, this morning even, because I was putting in basically anything and everything I had was in front of me. So we had a spoonful of coffee, and then I was thinking, oh, I really don't want these papers to be very coffee smelling, because not everybody likes the smell of coffee, and it's a Christmas journal. So, you know, I was thinking, what could I you know, put in that'll make it feel a bit Christmassy. So, you know, I always tend to chuck in a few tea bags and a spoon of coffee, because the coffee I find makes it darker, but the tea neutralizes the smell. And then as I'm looking on the side, I see a tub of Horlicks, obviously still left out because obviously everybody was poorly last week. And I thought, oh, that's, you know, got a nice drinking chocolatey smell. Obviously, bear in mind, I can't actually smell anything at the moment. I've got no smell, no taste still. So it was all going to be a bit of a trial and error. So in went a spoonful of the hot chocolate, and I'm stirring it round thinking, oh, this is quite a nice thing. And then, of course, I panicked and then thought, I've put some sugar in there. Now, what if it makes it a really bitter smell? And then I remembered, and I feel awful saying this, but I can't remember who it was, but somebody had made some lovely coffee papers in their journal the other day on YouTube. No, I can't even hazard a guess because I know I'm going to get it wrong. And they put cinnamon in with their coffee dye. And I can remember at the time, as she was saying it, I said it before she said it, and my other half laughed at me and he went, I didn't know she was going to say that. I said, because that's exactly what I would have done. And I was like, oh. And I said, oh, I bet I haven't got any cinnamon. I don't bake. I told you before, I don't bake. Well, I had a quick look in the cupboard, and lo and behold, there was a jar of cinnamon. So in went a big glob of cinnamon. And I did actually get a bit of a waft of that. So I don't know, I must be getting certain sensory smells. Oh, come on, paper, move up now. So yeah, I ended up with a bit of an interesting potion, dare I call it. And some lovely coloured papers though. Did you see that? I mean, look, they've come out really well. They're not too dark, but they've got quite an interesting, you know. So yeah, I thought, and actually they smell really nice. Well, I'm lying now because you know I can't smell much, but they don't smell objectionable, put it that way. So I then decided to have a bit of a play, and then out came the paints, and I flicked a bit of paint around, and oh, there we are. Look, you can see that the cinnamon is marked on that there. But yeah, I think they're quite nice, quite biscuity. But actually, going back to the hair dye, this was the hair dye one, and they did turn out all right in the end. And do you know what? These do smell really nice. They smell like hair conditioner. So I got a couple of those there. But I could have done more, but I did chicken out and I threw it out because I was panicking, thinking I was going to blow up the kitchen. I don't know where that thought came from. I don't know, maybe I'm right. Perhaps you're not meant to heat it. And then I was thinking to myself then, well, no, Rachel, that's a ridiculous thought, because what do we do once we've rinsed it out of our hair? We go and blow dry our hair with a boiling hot blower. So there's always going to be a risk of heat coming into contact with the chemical, isn't it? So I don't know what... I should have been in bed, obviously. After I'd finished that, I did swiftly go up to bed then and get a couple of hours before the alarm went off. But, oh yeah, that was my hilarious moment in the middle of the night last night. So, I obviously, my household, I have no idea the things I get down here getting up to, while they're all up there blissfully sleeping, without any awareness that Mum's potentially blowing up the house downstairs. It's a good job, isn't it? Good job they don't know what I get up to. They'd never sleep. They'd all be down here crafting with me then, wouldn't they? My goodness. How many of you, I need to ask this question because I don't know whether it's just me, but how many of you stay up late and craft because it's nice and quiet in your house then? Because I know a lot of the time that's the reason I do it, is because it gets so manic here through the day. It's just the only quiet time. So, you know, especially if I want to do a video. And, you know, I get so many interruptions because obviously I'm in the room I'm in is like right in the middle of the house. So you have to walk through this room to get anywhere. You know, the front door opens into the corridor, which is just by there. Living room's off it. The staircase is by the side of it. Kitchen's behind me, back door. So, you know, it's just always noise in here in the daytime. Or the doorbell goes or something. So I always think, oh, at least at night, send them all off to bed, and then you can get on with a bit then, quiet, can't you? So do many of you do that, or are you all not in as chaotic households as I am? Yes, that's unfair. My house isn't chaotic, it's just interruptions, isn't it? You know, obviously if you're just crafting, that's fine, but when I'm trying to get a video done for you guys without, you know, lots of background noise, it gets a bit frustrating sometimes. So I need a she shed. I'm grinding him down. I am working on it. But yeah, I need a she shed. Of course, we have got a shed out there that, in all fairness, he has said I can have, and he'll, you know, set it all up for me. But the only thing he's worried about is it does get very cold here, and it is very damp here. And he said your papers are all going to get wet, love. So I thought, well, you've probably got a point there, but we'll see. We'll see. Certainly won't be moving out there at this point in the year anyway. They've forecast that we're going to have a cold spell coming in next week. So it's really, I would say, unseasonably, is that the right word? Unseasonably warm at the moment. Because we haven't had to put the heating on or anything. I've just had the fire lit of an evening. But, you know, and I think we've all been home poorly. I don't know whether we've been having COVID flushes, maybe, I don't know. But I haven't had to put the heating on at all. So I kept these four to glue on. Of course I did. Silly Billy. And they've said now, though, it's been about 15 in the day, maybe 16. I don't know what that is in your temperature, on your money, as we say. I barely know what the temperature is in our I don't know what day it is half the time. Never mind converting temperatures. You know you're not here for the intelligence, guys. You realise that, don't you? If you're still watching and you're still listening, you are only here for the comedic value, I'm sure. Definitely not for anything of any intelligent value, because you're certainly not going to get that from me today. There we go. Well, that was easy. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that very much. So the question that's going to come from this is, will it be quicker doing this? So bear in mind, how many spreads did I say I had? Was it, I think I got 40 double page spreads. So will it be quicker doing it this way than it would be creating signatures and creating a cover, a hard cover of some sort, or the structure, and binding it? So, because that's all I'm doing here basically, is I'm just creating signatures and the binding process. That's what I'll have at the end. Do you know what? I really like that. I'm going to have to make myself one of these when I finish this. I can see it. So hopefully I'll have some of these wonderful papers I've got all over my desk here left over, and I'll be able to knock one up to keep as well. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. Okay, on to the next page. So yeah, we'll have to kind of see how it goes, because I mean, what am I looking at there? As long as I don't get too caught up in you know, what I'm collaging. Does that make sense? As long as I don't get too, you know, I can see me collaging straight over that now. I think I'm gonna have to. It's not that attractive a page, I'm afraid, and I don't want that on there. Yeah, I'm gonna just go straight over that. Sorry guys, I'm not gonna keep that page. These papers are just too pretty. Right, we've got Roxy's kit here. This is lovely. I absolutely love this Christmas kit. Which one shall I use? Oh, that's nice. That's a bit of me. That is, all those blues in there. Yes, I think we'll have that one. Yeah, everybody says, you know, how did you feel? How were you? Well, thankfully, I'd had my vaccinations, my first 2 anyway. And bizarrely enough, was actually due to go and have my 3rd, because I didn't realise, obviously we're on boosters here now, but I didn't realise until the Monday that I had COVID, because I had to ring and speak to my rheumatology department, because I wasn't sure what to do about my injections and whether or not I should carry on with it or what have you. Because obviously I was shielding throughout the lockdowns, because I immune suppressed. So I wasn't quite sure whether or not to continue with that treatment for the week, or whether I ought to give my immune system a chance to kind of fight it off. And when I spoke to them, she was like, oh yeah, well of course, you know, you should have had the 3 because you're not fully vaccinated. And I was like, what? Nobody told me that. She said, when are you due to go? Well, I was actually due to have it on the Wednesday when I had COVID, ironically. So I haven't had that yet. Got to wait now 30 days, I think, until after I recover to go and have that. But it's kind of irrelevant now, so it's a bit of a moot point, isn't it? Because obviously that horse has bolted, hasn't it? But there we go. Thankfully, the 2 I had were obviously enough. Interestingly enough, did an antibody test in the midst of having COVID. When you do your test here, your PCR test, they ask you if you do test positive, would you be happy to do an antibody test? So I'd just take the yes, not thinking of anything of it at the time, wasn't expecting it to become back positive. Anyway, obviously did. So this pack came through the post, and you've got to do it, I think, before like the 6th day or something. I don't know. I found all of that incredibly confusing, because I really didn't know where I was, how long I'd had it, because obviously I hadn't been well anyway. I'd had laryngitis the week before, hadn't I? So, you know, how you're supposed to know what day you're on of it, I couldn't quite get my head around that. That just was confusing me. I kept thinking, you know, surely you're just better when you're better, aren't you? I don't know. But anyway, so you do like this antibody test. Well, oh my goodness, I didn't realise I was squeamish. It is gross. They send you this pack, and you have to use a what are those things called? My dad has them. Lancet, is it? Because Dad's a diabetic, so he does it all the time. He'd probably laugh at me now if he's listening to this, thinking, big baby, I do that twice a day. I had to obviously do the pinprick to make my, actually they said I had to use that finger there. In fact, I still have the mark. It hurt. No, it wasn't that it hurt. That wasn't what it was that made me squeamish. You have to then bleed your finger, basically bleed your finger into this tiny, tiny little vial, is that the word? Vial? You've got to get, I think it was something like it can't have been 600 millilitres, 600 millimetres. My goodness, that's nearly like almost a pint. No, I don't know what it was, but it was 600 something I had to get it up to. So obviously it was like this little vial about that big, you know, quite thin, but you know, that took a lot. So like there was all this thing on the information on there, like, you know, like do exercises and get your blood flowing and everything before you started. But yeah, I was really squeamish, so that I was feeling a bit faint after I did that. Didn't like that at all. I'm to stand there and, you know, and it took a couple of minutes as well. Gosh, that's lovely, isn't it? I feel a bit guilty now about gluing that down. So yeah, had to do that. But interesting enough, those results came back and I had already had antibodies, which it said on the thing that I had prior to this bout of COVID. So basically, thankfully, the 2 vaccinations I had were enough to provide me with antibodies to fight COVID. Why I was doing an antibody test whilst I had COVID, I didn't really know, because to me it was a bit of a moot point, because I had it now and it was a case of suck it up, get on with it and hope for the best and hope that it doesn't get any worse. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe they perhaps do it so if you do get unwell and have to go to hospital, at least they know it's because you don't have any antibodies. I don't know. I don't pretend to understand any of that, but so that was quite an interesting interlude to the week. And of course then it was a case of, I think my son hadn't come down poorly with it at the time, because I know I had to ask him to go and post it to me then. I think it was the day before he was ill. But yeah, and then of course that day then when suddenly we realised that we were all in, and the only one who was allowed out was my 11-year-old, and he was most disgusted that he had to go to school, because of course he didn't have to isolate because he not long had it himself a couple of weeks ago. So although it wasn't the same batch, as we say, his antibodies were good and he was considered to be immune. So yeah, off he had to go to school. So the first morning, first Monday, bless him, I can remember waking up and of course I was stuck in my bedroom for the first 4 days. I felt awful. It sounds terrible to say this now. I was so relieved when my partner tested positive and my son, because I was allowed out of my room. Isn't it terrible? I haven't told them that, no mind, so don't go telling them I've said that. But yeah, I was like, you know, they were waiting for their tests to come back, and I was like, oh, you're not feeling very well. Oh, you know, this is awful. I'm so sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then, yeah, when he showed up and said, oh, it's positive, I was like, yes, let me out. 5 days, I tell you what, I was not, obviously, I don't think I was anyway, sent to my room often as a child. I couldn't have been, because it was just, oh my gosh, never been so bored in my life. Never been so bored. I mean, literally just stuck in the bedroom with the TV, and I'm not a big TV watcher, and I was just bored. I was texting my sister-in-law the one day. It was like, please give me some things on Netflix to watch. I don't know, give me some ideas what to look for. You know, give me some drama series or something that I can watch that's 7 parts and will kill the day. So fair play to her, she did come up trumps, and I did watch a couple of good things then in the end. But oh yeah, just so bored. And of course I was watching the A to Z videos and was gutted because all my stuff was down here and I was stuck up there, and I could feel my fingers twitching. I wanted to fold paper and couldn't. So, and I thought, oh, you know, there's no point me even having stuff brought up to fussy cut or whatever. I gotta be honest, I didn't really feel like it anyway. I wasn't feeling the best. I had a really bad headache, and it was the sinus pain more. I think the first couple of days, just really painful in the top of your nose. It was like it was burning. And just really tired. You know, you felt like you were all right, and then next thing you knew, you'd fallen asleep for like 4 hours. So yeah, strange virus, very strange. And then about, I think it was the day after I was allowed out of my room, then I got the cough started then, and oh, that's just been really irritating. I'm the only one actually that had the cough. And I know I've driven them all insane because it's relentless once I start coughing. And just awful. I sound like I'm on my last legs. But there we are. Thankfully that wasn't the case. And hopefully it won't take too long for that to go now. There we go. So yes, that was my little COVID story. How I think people's COVID stories are going to be like us ladies at Route 10 when we have babies. We have our birth stories, don't we? And I think COVID will be like that. It'll be, oh, how are you? What happened to you when you had it? Were you really poorly? We have a saying in Wales. It's the gauge by how unwell you are. Because, I don't know, does everybody else say poorly bad? Probably not. I think it's a Welsh thing. I definitely think that's a Welsh thing. Poorly bad. You're either poorly or you're poorly bad, which is like quite unwell, or you're poorly bad in bed under the doctor. And that's not physically under the doctor. That means there's medical intervention and you're under the doctor. So that's the 3 degrees in Wales of how unwell you are. You're either poorly, or rather you're poorly bad. You're poorly bad in bed, I think is the other one, and then you're poorly bad in bed under the doctor. So that was the Wenglish isms that we grew up with. Right, what am I going to put on the bottom? What am I going to put on the top? Although that looks quite cool, do you know what I think I'm going to add on here? Because this is like quite a vintagey feel, isn't it? I think I'm going to put a strip of fabric across there. I think that will finish that off quite nicely. So let's have a little look. Where's all those fabrics that I had? And let's see what we've got here. Oh, stretched over there, sorry. Let's have a look what we've got. Do you know what I think? I have to put the big light on a minute. It's sorry. It's that time of year now where at a certain point in the day it's just nearly dark. Nights are drawing in. Oh, I'm looking now and I think, oh, I don't know, I think that's going to be a bit modern, isn't it? Well, I've got one with like a gold holly pattern, which might be quite nice. I don't know. Or, no, that's too modern. That might be quite nice if we want to add colour. Tell you what, let's cut these off a minute and I can open it up and, oh, and so begins the dithering. Here we go. So much for just ploughing through. Oh, this is pretty. I like this. Oh, that is nice. Right, so that'll kind of keep the, oh my goodness, there's a hem on there. I wonder what these are from then. Oh, okay, right, we'll use that side there then. Oh, I was just going to say, I thought there were stars on there. I'm losing the plot here. Turned it the wrong way round. Right, focus, Rachel. Right, that's nice, I think, there. And then, do I go with something a bit different then down here? What have we got? What about this one here? A bit of a neutral. Let's have a little look, see what we've got. Oh, that's a bit too neutral in there. What do you reckon? Yeah. No, I don't like that one. Well, I like it, but it's not for this page. No. What about a bit of blue? I know these are a bit modern, but make a decision. Oh, that green is nice. Oh, this is nice. And it'll go with the holly. What about a little bit of that down there? I think that's quite nice. And then we'll have the check up there. What do we think? Or should I have a blue bit up there? No, I'm going to do that. Right, make a decision. Come on, stop dithering. Stop being, what is it my son says? I'm a procrastinator. Right, that's got to stop. So let me just get the mark here so I know where I got it cut. Oops, sorry, because I'm hitting the camera thing. Oh, I hope that's the right measurement now. There we are, that's fine. And we'll, good grief, that hasn't torn straight there, is it? Oh, perhaps my paper's a bit short, maybe. No, it's all right. No, it's okay. Don't know what I'm on about. There we are, and I can always put a little bit of lace over there. Of course, bear in mind, it'll be things going on top, but think I'll go that way. Yes. Yes. Very nice. Okay, right. Well, it would make more sense to start this end, wouldn't it, really? And then we will finish there, and then I'll tear. So let's tear it first. Lovely job. Right, I think fabric tack for this. So if I pop that by there, and then put that down there. Oh, there, very nice. And then all we need to do then is just ink at the bottom. And on the edge. There. How's that? Oh, I like that. Yes, I like that very much. Perhaps I should have inked that page underneath. We'll address that later. That's a beautiful page. This is Nathalie LineDotArrow's kit I'm going to use here. I think I might put a little bit of the... Oh, we have that Father Christmas as well. I'm just wondering if I put a bit of... I like this green. I really like that green. Okay, so I'm going to use those three there in a minute. I'm going to do a bit of collage. There we are. So I think we have everything in our family except for... I'm sure there's a bit of Irish there as well somewhere. I'm sure there is. My accent slips too easily into it on times for there not to be some Irish ancestor. I had to laugh. I don't know how carefully you listen. My goodness, I don't know how many of you actually even watch a whole video. I mean, I know you're all really busy and it gets a bit boring if we're just waffling on. But I was doing a video the other day, the tags one that I did, which I had to film over a couple of days. You probably noticed that it's like seasons come and go as I'm videoing because the light keeps changing. And I did the second day. It was on the weekend. It was the afternoon, and there was rugby on. The Wales were playing. It was an international game on the TV, and I had been sat in the living room with my other half watching it with my fussy cut tray, my scissors. Who did we play? Oh my gosh, it was only a couple of days ago and I've forgotten already. No, I can't think. It's gone. Look. COVID fog again. I know it wasn't South Africa because I know Ireland beat them the day before and that was a tremendous game. Really enjoyed that. But I can't think who Wales were playing. I want to say Australia. No, it wasn't. All I know is we had the wrong colour kit on and it was irritating me a bit. We had green on. And they were in... Oh, no, of course. It was Fiji. Of course it was. That's right, because they were wearing black and white. And we were in green, which I always find very strange. Anyway, we're Wales. We're red, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? When you're watching your sport, your team on the TV, you know... Like me, and I'm a bit not great with seeing. We're watching the colours. So anyway, I'm sat here. I got a bit fed up after a bit, and I had to come out because I get a bit frustrated, or I get too into it, and it gets a bit stressy. So I thought, oh, I'm going to go in the other room. But I wanted to get my video done. I wanted to finish the journal, and I came and sat in here. Well, as I said, my house is the size of a postage stamp. You stand in one room, you can hear it in every other room. And of course, unbeknownst to me, the telly was on in the other room. I was aware of that, obviously, because I was watching it in the glass in the front door. I could see the reflection of the television. And I hadn't realised, but the commentator on the television was Irish. And what I hadn't realised was, I realised he was Irish. I wasn't taking any notice of that. He was just in the background, if you know what I mean. But what I hadn't twigged was, I got this really, really annoying habit. Some may call it a skill. It's not a skill, it's just a nuisance. I pick up people's accents very, very easily. And without realising it, will not mimic, that's the wrong word, but will... Yes, echo an accent. I was very good at accents as a kid. It was something that my family found great humour in my impressions and things. But yeah, so I don't purposely set out to do people's accents. It just happens, and I just obviously got an ear for picking up an accent. So unbeknownst to me, while I was filming, my accent switched from Welsh to Irish, and obviously didn't notice at the time. I kind of think in my head sometimes, and I can hear it then, and I'm thinking, that doesn't sound like my accent, or whatever. But yeah, I slipped into an Irish accent. Rose, you'll scream if you go back and listen. Rose's, she did Journals in Time, blue kit's on my desk here. She did her tutorial yesterday, so you will all have heard Rose's lovely voice and her beautiful Irish accent. Well, if you go back now that you've heard me say this and listen to my video from the other day where I did the tags in 10 ways, you will hear me taking on the accent of the Irish commentator from the rugby on the TV, and you will wet yourselves, because I didn't notice it until I was editing the video, which time it was way too late, and there was no way I was going to sit and do a narration over the top of that video. It was like, it took me 3 days. Once it's done, it's done. You know, I'm very much, right, it's finished, just leave it be. I thought, I'm not editing over that. No one will notice, and if they do, it'll just give you something to giggle at. But there are certain bits of it is really bad. So I was showing my boys the other night. I did give them a bit of a giggle, and they were like, "Oh, Mum, that's awful. Honestly, what do you sound like?" My oldest was just sat there with like this look on his face, like, "What? Like, what on earth are you doing?" And I said, "I know. Listen to it. It's terrible." But I did. I was literally, I'd gone off, and I thought I was an island. So yeah, scream. We are actually going to Ireland shortly, for a couple of days. We were supposed to have gone to New York in February for my birthday. I was 40 earlier in the year, and my Christmas and birthday present had been a surprise trip to New York for a couple of days, which was great, you know, place we always wanted to visit kind of thing. And of course then we went into lockdown, and I could have cried for my other half, because he just had everything planned, organised, it was all done. He'd even paid for the tourist card and everything. It was all organised, love him. And then of course it all got stopped, so we had to wait months and months and months to fight to get a refund. But we finally got that, and then decided we weren't going to attempt it again this year, so we thought we'll have a couple of days in Ireland instead. So that's the plan. But yeah, so we're going to Ireland soon, and I just hope it doesn't happen when I'm there. How embarrassing would that be? Suddenly talking to somebody, and then they'd be like, "What?" They think I'm taking the mick, won't they? What do you reckon, Rose? She's going to be laughing now. She'll be going back and thinking, "Let me have a listen to this." How embarrassing, honestly. It wasn't purposeful. I genuinely don't realise I'm doing it. But it's funny how, drat it. I didn't mean to put that up there. I meant to put that down there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for today. I will then be back in the next video, and we will carry on with some more of our different types of pages. We should be coming up to some pockets very shortly. Yes, and then I'll show you then how I'm going to do those, and how I'll, you know, combine those pages together. But just give this a chance to dry and let you get on with something else. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave us a like and a comment. Really appreciate that. And take care, and I'll be back with you all very, very soon. Bye now.